What's going on? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Soapboxing Podcast. It's your boy Fresh, welcoming you this morning. It is a pleasure to be with y'all. Today we have Eduardo Garcia with us, joining us to sit down, talk some boxing, talk about his previous fight, and talk about his next fight coming up. Coach Derek is out in Detroit this morning, getting ready for Q's fight. Quentin Randall's going to be fighting this evening in the Detroit Brawlers showcase out there. So good luck to the guys. I'm sure they're going to go out there and kick some ass and come back and tell us all about it. So what's going on, my man? Thank you for being with us this morning. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
For sure, man. We've been a big fan of you. You are no stranger to the show. Anytime we're out there to the fights and we're out there commentating or whatnot, you always stop by and talk with us, and we appreciate that. We've been following you for a while. I think the first time I really had a chance to sit and chat with you was probably over there in Humble when you had that fight out there. How have things been going, bro?
Going good. I mean, ever since the beginning of 2021, things have been looking up. Fights have been a lot more consistent lately. But the years before that, it was 1 year and then I'll be off for another year. It was pretty much like once a year type of situation, which was not going pretty well.
What was going on with that? Was that a training thing? Was it management? What was it? Just finding opponents?
Yeah, it was just finding opponents, really. I wasn't signed with nobody. I just turned pro at the time or whatever. And it was mostly we would get the fights, we would be on the shows and all that. And then it was always like bullshit happening last minute. Opponent doesn't show up. He doesn't make physicals, weight, whatever. And so I remember that happened a couple times back to back to back. So while I was technically scheduled to fight, I went over a year without fighting just because of things that kept falling through.
Yeah, that's the business of boxing, man. It's something that we all got to deal with. But you mentioned in 2021 things started to turn around. What was the changing factor that helped that?
So, well, back up a little bit before that, kind of going off of what I was saying. After that happened so many times, I was kind of getting flustered and frustrated. This was about 2018, 2019. Mm-hmm. So I was like, man, you know what? I was still in school at the time at U of H, University of Houston, Maine. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take a break here. There's a lot of crap going on. Let me just finish school and I'll be back. And so that happened, graduated 2019. And then so I was back in the gym January 2020. And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was real sick right before COVID. I'm pretty sure that's what it was or whatever. And then, so
you had COVID before you knew it was COVID.
Right. I guess I got it before it was cool, right? So so then everything started shutting down or whatever because of it. And then so that basically put me back on the sidelines for that whole other year, 2020. And then 2021 started, everything started getting more lax with COVID and all that. And I was back in the gym. And then I signed with Next Fight Up early 2021.
And then from there, how did that relationship come about? Okay, you got Forrest Washington and Joey V out there, great guys, local Houston promoters. How'd that relationship come to pass?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I've known Forrest for years, since the amateur days. I remember one time we were at one of the Olympic trials qualifiers out in Memphis, I believe it was. I don't remember what city. Memphis? No, Chattanooga. Memphis or Chattanooga, one of those, for one of the qualifiers. And then we were going as a Houston team, and they were like, oh, here's the lineup of who you're rooming with. And I was rooming with Forrest. At the time, I didn't know nothing about him. Like, I was like, oh, I got to room with this stranger, right? I have no idea who he is. And whatever. I forgot who else was in the room with us. And whatever, we're at the tournament. At the time, I was still in school, so I had a lot of schoolwork or whatever. And I guess he's seen when I'm not fighting, I was in the room, I don't know, writing a paper or doing whatever I had to do. And then I remember, because we talk about it now, he always says that whenever he finally see me fight, he thought I was gonna get my ass whooped like off the jump just because what's this little kid doing? He's in school, nerd, whatever. And then he was like, oh shit, this guy can fight.
Yeah.
And then so that's pretty much how I met him and how I got in contact with him.
So you're from Houston, right?
Yeah, born and raised.
Nice. And so tell us how this whole boxing thing got started for you.
Man, it's not like most people, you know, had it hard coming up or whatever. Nah, my parents took care of us pretty well. Me and my siblings. And then we wanted something to do. So my dad threw us in the boxing gym. I think my mom wanted us to go like karate or something. And we were like, that's kind of, you know, let's go boxing first, right? Plus it was more affordable at the time.
Right.
And so we stuck with it. Got pretty good at it. I had my first fight within my first year or whatever. I was 9 years old at the time.
You started young, yeah.
Yeah, I was a kid. I mean, I've been in the game since I was 9. So what, 16 years now?
Right.
And then I started getting pretty good or whatever. And then it just kind of took off from there.
What gym did you walk into?
Eastside Boxing over here.
And that's
at the time it was Juan Moya at the time.
And is that the same gym that you're at now?
No, right. So I train at Maine.
Yeah, with Bobby and
with Bobby and Aaron.
Yeah, and Aaron. And how's that work? How's working with them two? Them two are some solid coaches and trainers, man.
Yeah, top tier, best in the game. Yeah. So sure. I mean, shoot. And plus at the gym, we got anything you can ask for. We got it there.
Yeah. Every time I talk about Houston boxing, man, I feel like, you know, Houston's always, it's just evolving and growing in boxing. It's becoming like the mecca where we have world-class fighters from all over the country that come to train here. And if they're not training out of Houston, they come to Houston to get good sparring in and get good training in.
Right.
And so you were over at the East End, and tell us about your amateur career and how all that developed.
So I mean, I started fighting pretty regularly. Again, once I had my first fight, I was 9 years old. By the time I had just turned 13. 9 days after I turned 13, my dad was like part of our coach or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he would help train us, this and that, me and my brother at the time. And then he passed away when I was 13. And then so I took some time off after that, like whatever. Probably like 2-3 months after that. And then I started fighting again. My brother never returned, but I came back. And then from there, I mean, I just kept winning state titles, going to nationals, silver gloves, JOs. I mean, you name it, I was there.
You know, we had Darius on last week, and we were talking about, you know, the discipline that it takes to be in school and college and box, man. I mean, both require full-time attention and energy, especially if you're competing at the level that you're all competing professionally. You know, and you know, you mentioning, you know, how you first met, you know, Forrest, or the first memory that you have Forrest, that, you know, you're literally, you know, at camp or whatnot, and you're studying and you're doing your homework. And so how was that for you, balancing the two, your education and boxing? And what's your message to young fighters out there that might be going through the same thing?
I guess it is difficult getting it, you know, figured out, scheduled or whatever. I guess the biggest thing that people struggle with is they want to do all that and still go out and party, go out with the friends, go do all that. And that's where you kind of gotta, you know, make your decision. It's a lot easier if you don't do all that, you know. Like all I got to do is wake up, go to school, train. It's not too hard, you know. It's not too bad. Yeah, your social life takes a hit, but you'll get it back. You'll get it back once everything pays off.
Nice. Now you just came back from, where was it? Was it Costa Rica? No, where was it that you just
Costa Rica, yeah.
Was it Costa Rica? Congratulations on your victory out there. How was that your first time fighting out there in Costa Rica?
Yeah, first time fighting internationally as a professional. I think in the amateurs, once we went to Canada, but this was the first time we left the country for the pros.
And how was that whole experience out there?
It was cool. It was nice. The whole like where we were staying and all that. We weren't really staying where the like where the tourists go.
Right.
We were staying more of where like the locals went. So I've got some family back in Mexico, and so like when we would go visit them, it was very similar. The like hot water, limited AC, limited heater, like that situation.
So you got the full experience.
Yeah. But the food out there was amazing.
Was it?
Yeah, the food was the best thing.
Were you able to spend a little bit of time going out checking out the local vibes, or what you got in, took care of business, and headed back out?
Pretty much. The only times we would go out on the town or whatever would be to go look for food.
Nice. And so now you took care of business a couple of weeks ago, and you're back in the ring next month, man. February 12th in Austin, Texas. Next fight up at the Gibbons Recreational Center. You're going to be fighting. Now, is this going to be another 6-round fight, right? Or 4-round?
No, it should definitely be a minimum of 6.
6-round fight.
So funny story, actually, in going back on the Costa Rica fight, the whole time, I mean, I've only ever fought 6 rounds. This was supposed to be a 6-round fight. In the fight, 6-round ends. I'm like, okay, cool, job done. And they're like, no, you got 2 more.
What?
I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's fantastic.
What? What happened? Did they have an explanation afterwards, or what happened? They're just like, "No, you're gonna fight 8 rounds."
Apparently, I mean, maybe I didn't get the memo. Something happened somewhere where it was like, "Okay, you're doing 8." I was like, "All right, I guess." I mean, I can't complain about it then and there. So all you can do is just roll with it.
Out there. Yeah. And
yeah.
So was that your first 8-round fight?
Yep.
Wow. Well, you got that out the way now. Now you know how it feels, and you'll be ready for whatever comes at you next, bro.
Exactly.
So, next fight up next month, February 12th. Shout out to Forrest and to Joe putting on another great show out there in Austin, Texas. So if you're in the area, Valentine's weekend, make sure you check it out. Gibbons Recreational Center. Next fight out is going to be putting on a fantastic show. Some hard hitters. You got Rashad Hicks on the card. You have Robert Garcia, Eduardo Garcia, Jiffy Morales, Ephraim, Tali, Eugene Hill Jr. It's just going to be an action-packed show. So, how's camp coming along? Are you getting in some good sparring?
So yesterday was actually my first day back sparring, because we landed last Sunday.
Yeah.
I took Monday, Tuesday off. Wednesday was back in the gym training normal, and then Friday was the first day back sparring.
How'd it feel? How's your body feeling?
Good. I mean, I feel great because I mean I knew I was in shape going into the last fight, right. And then it's always refreshing coming back to working out after your fight. Because as you know, like the tail end of the camp leading up to a fight, you're focusing on your weight. So you can't really eat, you can't really drink, but you still got to put in the work. Right. So then after the fight, you go back to training, and you're still in just as good a shape, but now you can eat and drink, so you feel a whole lot better.
Absolutely. Now you're a welterweight, right? 147.
47, right?
47. And how is it? How's that weight for you? Do you feel comfortable there? Is it easy for you to make your weight at 147? Do you see yourself going up or down as you move forward?
So lately, we've been pretty much. I've actually been fighting heavier than that. So since last year, I fought I think my first fight last year was like around 55, 54. Mm-hmm. And then it was slowly coming down from there. And then it was like 54, and then 52, 51. This last one was at 52. This next one's going to be at 47, and we're just slowly bringing it down. And we'll probably keep it steady right around 143, 145 when we get there, until something major happens, then we drop to 40.
So you've been active, man. You know, you fought a couple of weeks ago. You're back in February. How many fights do you see yourself fighting this year?
Quite a bit, hopefully.
Anytime there's a show you want to be on it, huh?
Just about. I mean, I'm 7-0 right now. After February, we'll be at 8. If I can hit 12, 13 by the end of the year, that'd be great.
And what do you how do you see your path going out? What are some of the fighters that you see right now that you'd like to see yourself get in the ring with?
So I guess right now you got the obvious guys at the top of the food chain, the Tos, the Haneys, the
Yeah.
Javantes. They're a little smaller. But I mean if they want to meet at 40 one day, that'd be cool. I think To's moving up to 40 soon. But those guys are pretty small. So I think right now at the 47 you have Boots Ennis. He's
Mm-hmm.
making noise at 47, I think, and so is Virgil Ortiz from Dallas.
Yeah, yeah. Man, it seems like when you watch these fights and when you watch these fighters, who are some of the guys that you look at and say, man, this guy has something special? Who do you think is overrated? Coach D likes to do this little segment called Overrated,
Yeah,
Underrated, where
I've seen it.
he'll list off a couple of fighters that we will judge. Who are some of the fighters right now that you think are underrated and overrated? Like, let's start with underrated. Who's out there right now that we're not really paying attention to that we should?
Man, you're probably gonna be disappointed at my knowledge of fighters in the boxing game. I don't watch them too much. I know I feel like Boots is pretty underrated. Ennis, I think he's from Philly. I'm not sure exactly where he's from. Jerome Ennis.
Right.
I think he's pretty underrated, but I mean, because I know he could crack. Again, I grew up with most of these guys in the amateurs. We were always at the same tournaments and things like that. I almost think Virgil's pretty underrated too. I know he does make a lot of noise recently, or has been.
He has
but
been.
I feel like people have been kind of sleeping on him for the most part. But we'll see whenever he gets in the mix with those, like the Porters, the Thurmans, and all those guys.
It's funny you said. It's amazing. When we're in their training or we're focused on boxing, we tend to have our head so focused on what we're doing that we're not paying attention to what's going on. So we'll miss a lot of what's happening. Like you said, we don't have all the information because we don't have time to be in there studying everyone and paying attention to what everyone's doing. But I tell you what, though, who I am excited. The fight that I'm excited about that's coming up is this guy, Oscar Valdez and
Shakur,
yeah,
Stevenson. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think Shakur takes it.
Yeah,
pretty handily.
I think my head is telling me Shakur is going to win because he's a monster. I mean, he's the future. He's the future of boxing. The kid is so special, so talented. He has all the charisma and all the tools that he needs to be the next face of boxing. Man, but I love Oscar's story. I love his energy. I love his whole aura and his boxing, man. I love his boxing as well. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a great fight. Good for boxing. Good for both of them. And we'll see. I'm always rooting for the underdog, and Oscar is definitely the underdog in that fight. So
yeah,
we'll see how it turns out.
For sure.
Who are some of the fighters that said that you enjoy watching, or not even enjoy watching, but who would you say you model your boxing after, or someone that you study or look at film?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I model it after anybody in particular. I guess I try to take a little bit of everybody. I mean, because no one's perfect, no one's got a perfect game. So I guess the guys that I like to watch are the Lomachenko's up there. He's definitely probably number one. Funny enough, even Tyson Fury, obviously, the weights, obviously it's going to be different, but just the way that he can box for being so big, I think is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. He's 6'7", 300 and something pounds, and he moves that in that ring like he's a welterweight. I mean, watching him fight, it's ridiculous. And I love
heavyweights shouldn't be able to do that
at all. And you watch these memes, and you're on social media, and you'll see like Wilder, pictures of Wilder and pictures of AJ, and on each side, and you have Tyson Fury in the middle. Both these guys are, have this amazing physique. They're built, six pack and arms, and then you got the guy in the middle who's overweight, got a big belly. but he can kick both of their asses and move in that ring like
Yeah.
it's nothing. It's just
And not
amazing.
only can he kick their ass, but he outboxes them. Like
Yeah.
he moves more athletically than them.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I was up last night and I couldn't fall asleep, and I was flipping through his channels, and that Tyson Wilder fight was on the third one, and that's just like, I mean, even in that fight, he was a little flat-footed. You know, it wasn't like he wasn't in the second fight, but man, just to watch him move and watch him fight is
It's
something
crazy.
special. Yeah, it's something special. You know, back to Lomo, man. What do you think about Lomo? How do you think Lomo's career is going to close out? You know, he had that tough fight that tough loss against
Tio.
Lopez, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, he came back with the victory. I thought he looked great. I thought he dominated the fight. I felt like he would. How do you see it
I mean,
closing out for him?
I hope they give him all the fights that everyone obviously wants to see against the Gervontas, the Haneys, and Ryan and all them. I hope, but I don't think he'll be able to fight them all by the time he's done. I mean, because he's only got a couple years left.
Right. Yeah.
That's a shitty side.
Yeah. He's
But
how old is he now?
he's in his 30s for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think right now his biggest fight would probably be against Tank.
Tank?
At least in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him losing to any of them. Like, the only person I would see him having issues again with would be if there was a rematch with Lomo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be. I mean, a rematch with Tio. I think that
Tio.
would be. Yeah, that would be a tough fight for him again. But I don't know who else can beat him.
Right. I think he just outboxes Tank pretty
Yeah.
easily. I mean, because Tank was being outboxed by Santa Cruz, and Santa Cruz is a much smaller guy.
Yeah. What's your take on this George Caboso guy?
Apparently, he's the real deal. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of like most people. I didn't know too much about him until this last fight. But I mean, that's all it takes is that one chance, and now everyone knows who you are.
Do you think that we were too quick to crown Tio and this guy exposed him? Or is this guy just the real deal? Is George just the real deal? Because it was a hell of a fight. Like, this wasn't
right.
It was a hell of a fight.
Right. I think it could be a little bit of both. I think Tio is too young to be that guy, like, already. I mean, he's definitely not on the same, level as, like, say, Canelo. Canelo's obviously that guy. You can't say that for Lopez. Like, even if he would have won that fight, even if he would have knocked Kambosos out, he's still not that guy. It's just too early in his career. But, man, I guess Kambosos just came in ready. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if he's that guy. I hope he beat Haney. I hope he was, if that fight happens. I think he should, just because, I mean, from what I've heard, Haney's not a big puncher, and Kambosos comes to fight. But as far as Kambosos beating, I mean, maybe this is me being a fanboy, but I don't think he beats Lomachenko, like, at all.
No, I think
nor Davis, actually.
I think that whole Lomo. I'm big on Lomo. I love Lomo. I've been a big fan of Lomachenko for a while. I had him. I picked him to beat Tio, and I was a Tio fan. And I was disappointed. I was shocked. And even after the fight, I was like, you know what? He lost.
Tio did his thing.
Yeah, he lost. But now let's see how he comes back, how he rebounds, and what he does different. And he came back and he beat that Comey kid. But I think he made the adjustments. I think if you put Kambosos in there with him, I think Lomo beats him. But this guy, I mean, this kid, man, I think he's tough. I think he knows how to fight. I think he wants it. But I was all in too on Timo. Like, when he beat Lomo, I'm like, all right, fuck, let's see what this kid got. I thought he was gonna run the table, and I was shocked, like a lot of us was when Kambosos beat him.
Right. Like I knew he wasn't the boogeyman per se, like not
Right.
just yet, but I didn't think Kambosos was gonna win.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna walk away with that win. So I knew he was that guy, and I thought he was gonna beat Kambosos. But I mean, this is boxing. Anything can happen.
Speaking about the boogeyman, bro, what about fucking Benavidez? How are you on him?
I don't follow him crazy. I don't know a whole bunch about him. I think he's a little bit overrated, but
wow, yeah. I mean, the kid. I think the kid's a monster. I think I would love to see him fight Canelo in about 3 or 4 years, 3 years maybe. Get some good tough fights in under him, and I think that's gonna be a fucking blockbuster.
Is he the same weight as Berlanga?
What weight is Blanda?
Ooh, I don't know. I know
Benavidez. Let me see, David Benavidez. He's 165, right?
Something like that. I think Berlanga's also like 60s, maybe 70s.
Benavidez is he's like 165. But the kid's a fucking monster, man.
He's young too, right?
Yeah, he's 25, bro.
Oh
he's
shit.
25. He's 25. He's 25 and 0. That's another kid that's his future is bright in boxing.
Right. So he reminds me a lot of Munguia.
Yeah.
Jaime Munguia.
Doesn't he have a fight coming up? I thought he had a fight coming up. Let me see.
Not that I've seen.
He's out of where? He's out of
some Munguia?
Yeah.
Somewhere in Mexico. I'd be lying if I told you I knew.
He was. I honestly thought he's from Mexico, but I thought he was. No, he's in California. He's from Tijuana.
Right.
Yeah, Tijuana. I don't know why he thought he was from Texas. No, but he's from.
No. He's fought here quite a few times. That's probably why.
Oh man! So, were you doing any training today?
Today, I might go for a little run later. Today, probably tomorrow also, and then we're back in the gym regular on Monday.
How many miles do you usually put in?
Minimum 3. It's not even worth lacing up a pair of shoes for anything less than that. Yeah. But I was quite the track star or whatever in high school and college growing up. So, I mean, I'll go up to 10, 12, 15, whatever, really.
I try to run about 3 miles. When I was in the gym all the time, about 6 months ago, I was running about 3 miles every day, and then I fell off, and I just got back into the gym last week, and I'm starting to train again, and I did 2, and I felt good, but I'm like, nah. Like you said, if it's not at least 3, it doesn't make no sense. So I'm trying to get back into my routine. When you're not training, how much does your weight fluctuate, and how difficult is it for you to get back into, because there's fight weight, there's walk around weight, and then there's I don't give a shit weight, and I've been in that I don't give a shit weight for a couple months, and I put on about 20 pounds, bro. And so it's when I'm in that walk around weight, it's about 10 pounds away from where if I'm gonna fight, it's
right. About 10 that's like that away. Sweet spot.
Yeah, that 10 pounds. Oh, I got away from it. How does your weight fluctuate? And I'm way older, so for me, it takes a toll. But for you, being a professional, how much does your weight? Because I tell you what, I seen we were in Vegas for Quentin's fight before the pandemic on the Charlo undercard, and I ran into Earl Spence. Bro, I'd be a liar if I didn't tell you that fool looked like he was damn near 200 pounds, bro. Like,
really?
That dude gets big. When he's not
Earl?
I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah, but I didn't expect Earl to to be able to blow up like that.
Bro, that man blows up easy. Ask anybody that dude will blow up about 100. He could have been easily 180 pounds, easily
Damn.
180 pounds. Yeah. So that's how I was. I was like, damn, bro. So I know for different people, it can vary. How is it for you?
So what was that word that you called it? That like I don't give a shit weight, like that. Yeah. So I guess whenever I was out for those 2 years when I was finishing school and then pandemic, that was when I was the biggest ever. That was my like I didn't give a shit, like whatever. I probably got to like 190.
What?
Like around 190. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Felt horrible about myself. Just I didn't give a damn.
It's crazy though, right, man? You when you're training and you're in camp or you're at least consistently going to the gym, your body becomes accustomed to even just moving a certain way, carrying a certain amount of weight, just functioning, and you feel good. But once you start putting on that weight, it's like it's like a drag to get out of bed, to get back into the routine. So what is it? What do you do when that helps you jumpstart your metabolism? Is it running? Is it sparring? Is it hitting the bag? Like, what is it? Or is you just jump in the water and say, let's fucking get it?
Pretty much just about that. I mean, whenever I was, fat as can be, 190, and you finally decide, hey, I'm gonna go back and, get in shape or whatever, those first 10, 20 pounds those are easy. Like those first few pounds, especially because I've been an athlete all my life, right? So I'm not lazy per se. I can get out there and get it. Right. So those first 10, 20 pounds come off like nothing. All you got to do is work out a little bit.
Right.
And then you can throw another 5, 10 pounds, but just quit eating shitty. No more pizzas, McDonald's, Cokes. For me, it's energy drinks. I love energy drinks, Monsters, Red Bulls, all that. That's my weakness.
Are they bad? Why are they bad? Because of the calories or because of the shit that it does to you, like the heart?
It could. I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, it doesn't help that I sometimes, or growing up a few years back, I would have high blood pressure, which is funny because I've been an athlete my whole life, right? But I think the energy drinks, at least for me, I'm no scientist. I don't study food or anything, but I think the preservatives or the things inside the energy drinks sits in your body a little bit. And to me, again, I'm no scientist or nothing, but to me, I think it hurts you when it comes to, I think I don't know what it is. Again, I think it's the preservatives or something. It just stays inside you and it takes forever to lose weight.
Wow. I didn't think about it like that. I know when I have energy drinks, if I have it past like 5 o'clock or 5:30, like I'm at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm staring at the fucking ceiling.
Same.
I should have never fucking drank that energy drink. It's ridiculous. But yeah. So are you? What's your nationality? Is it Mexican?
Yeah, Mexican.
Okay. So did your fam? Because I'm Mexican as well. And, whenever we used to have the fights, whether it was, I can remember the days when the family used to get together for the Julio Cesar Chavez fights, and then it was, the De La Hoya fights, the Fernando Vargas fights. Was that like that for you growing up? Having your uncles or whoever, get together for the fights, and do you have any memories like that, or are you the one that's bringing boxing into your family?
Yeah, that we were never really a boxing family. I didn't have uncles, grandparents, nobody growing up with boxing. I was basically the start.
Nice. But are they all in now? Are they supportive and
supportive? Yes. Do they like to see me fight? Not necessarily. Mom still like turns away and like, I don't want you to fight and all that. But as soon as we're done fighting, oh my God, and congratulations! I always knew you would. Blah blah blah. That whole nine.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough for moms, and you always watch these fights, and when someone gets hurt or someone gets knocked out, and it takes them a minute to get up. I'll tend to look out into to the crowd, and you'll see the wife or the family, and it's a tough sport. It's a brutal, violent sport, and it's definitely not for lighthearted at all.
Oh, for sure. It's scary.
Now, what's your and the reason I had asked that was because we're always talking on the show about Canelo and Chavez and the Mexican boxing
Fighters, yeah.
Who do you think holds the throne when it comes to the greatest Mexican fighter of all time?
I think you kind of got to give it to Chavez, but that could just be me being a little bit of a Canelo hater. I'm not the biggest fan of Canelo.
I'm with you on that one.
I'm not. I mean, he's that guy, yeah, but I don't know. I'm not really sold on him. Like, he is the number one pound for pound right now, but I just don't like it.
I think Canelo is the best pound for pound. I think he is the face of boxing. Canelo's great. There's absolutely nothing that you can take away from Canelo. The guy's a specimen.
For sure.
He's what he's done is unbelievable. Fighting in the different weight classes, being able to achieve what he has thus far in his career has been nothing short but phenomenal.
For sure.
But the conversation of the greatest boxer of all time is it's fun to have. It's fun to compare the two styles, the two legends. And it's always great to watch when they're together, right? Because Chavez is so humble, and he'll say, "No, you're the greatest," and you're gonna carry on the throne and be the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. But even then, I was asking, I wanted to ask a leading question to that. Here we have Julio Cesar Chavez, who many consider the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, and then you have his son, Chavez Jr., who arguably is the most embarrassing fighter of Mexican fighter of all time. I mean, the shit that we see from him, from the wearing the
dancing
heels,
and
the dancing, and the performances that he's put on, and I don't even know if you've seen it the other day. I think Coach D put it out on the Soapboxing podcast page, where did the trainer actually give him something during the fight?
I've seen that. Yeah,
that's what it looked like. So it's like, it's got to be a nightmare for Senior,
for Pops.
Yeah, it's got to be. But where I was going with this was, you see Jake Paul and Chavez Jr. possibly having a fight. I think that would be a good fight. In the sense that it would bring a lot of more attention to boxing. I don't know who would win. You would have to think that Chavez.
I would have Jake Paul. No, I would have Jake.
And I get it because the Junior is such a fucking mess. But at the end of the day, he's still a professional. Like it's like, okay, like if you fuck this up, you're done. Like, and you should have been done years ago.
Right, but that's exactly it though. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he has no
respect.
Clearly he has no pride or respect for what he's doing. I mean, you see him dancing in heels and all that. Yeah. So why wouldn't he just take a couple mil and go? He's already a joke. Might as well be the biggest joke and get paid for it.
Fuck, it's ridiculous. What's your whole take on the Jake Paul movement, or the Jake Paul the whole YouTuber turning boxing? How do you feel about it? Is it good or bad for boxing?
I think overall, in the long run, it's good because it is bringing the new eyes. All the kids or whatever that follow Jake Paul, they're watching the fights and all that. So I think overall, it's pretty good. Now, has he fought anybody? No, obviously. I mean, he's fighting these MMA guys and basketball players, and that's the part that I don't get. Like, it's cool if you want to bring him in as the main event, that's fine, do that. But why don't you put him against a real boxer?
Right. Now
that's the only part I didn't get.
Now my whole when it comes to Jake Paul, I love what he's doing as far as bringing attention to boxing, bringing new fans,
Right.
bringing that attention to boxing. And I really like what he, the back and forth that's going on with Dana White,
Yeah,
as far as paying the UFC fighters more and whatnot.
for sure.
But while he's in boxing, I mean, I think he ought to apply that to boxing as well. He's getting paid millions to fight non-professional boxers. He should be giving opportunities to young prospects, young fighters that are coming up, the Garcias of the boxing world, the Quentin Randalls of the boxing world that are out here grinding every day, putting in the work, fighting, 4 or 5 times a year, traveling internationally, trying to get to that opportunity so they can shine. I think that he needs to use that vehicle that he has right now and give some of these young prospects an opportunity to not only showcase who they are, but also make money. Because you have these big shows, and it's nothing but a fucking circus act. I mean, you got you got these fucking guys fighting basketball players and then you have on the undercard, you have football players. Then they have like Terrell Owens fight someone the other day on one of the undercards, and so I think the concept's a great concept. I think the gimmick's great. I love what it's doing. I think we can make some adjustments to really help those in the boxing community, the young prospects that are coming up, to give them a platform, give them a chance to get some of that money as well.
Right, because is it real boxing? No, because like you said, it's a circus show basically, right? But it's entertaining and it draws eyes, which is good. That's where I think, like you were saying, you're correct. Like there should be a way to mix the two. Like you could go ahead and have your little circus show, but why don't you throw in some real boxing and give those guys a chance?
Absolutely, and I think that's where that would be the sweet spot. That would be the sweet spot for everyone. Because then you're really going to bring, because there was a time, especially in the beginning, where you would have purist boxing fans that would say, oh, I'm not going to watch that shit. I'm not gonna watch that's not even real boxing. I'm not going to watch it, this, that, and another. But if you're able to meet that sweet spot where you have this, these fights, but you also have real boxing, well, then you're going to bring both worlds together. And that's where you can, make the magic happen, and everybody wins. Everyone makes money. The fans get boxing, and their
little circus show.
Yeah, and they get the fucking entertainment aspect of it. The WWE fucking theme behind it. But I love what they're doing over there with like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, like what he did with Roy Jones Jr. I love that shit. Like that was the fight that for me growing up and in the 90s. Like I
should have happened.
Yeah, should have happened. And even though they're not in their prime, and even though it wasn't, a 12-round fight, we got to see a glimpse of these two legends fight. So our imagination could have gotten away a little, been like, man, can you imagine if they were in their prime? Can you imagine if they really would have fought? And even though even though it wasn't, it wasn't in their prime, they still box. We still saw some boxing.
For sure.
They were in their boxing. They weren't trying to kill each other, but they were boxing. So I love what they're doing with the whole, I think it's the Legends League, right? Or some shit like that. The Legends League.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, with let me see. Mike Tyson.
I'm surprised Floyd doesn't go in there and start fighting those guys.
Leagues, legends only, or some shit. But then you got Paul talking about he wants to, he wants to fight Tyson.
Yeah, I don't know. Because then he's gonna, if he wins that, which Tyson's, however old Tyson is, Jake's just gonna be, wow, I beat Tyson, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, bro. I mean, but did you really beat the real Tyson? No, like but his ego's gonna think he did.
You know, but I'm gonna give Paul credit in the fact that he is training. Oh, he
knows how to box.
Yeah, he's training. And he's boxing, but the level and the caliber
right
is where he's staying within his perimeters. He's not getting in over his head. And even if it was to fight Tyson, that's a very, very, very dangerous fight for Paul, because I don't care how young you are, I don't care how strong you may be, you're still in there with Mike Tyson, and a motherfucker that's still trained. So anything could happen.
But even if he loses that fight, he really doesn't lose anything to his name because it's Tyson.
Right.
Yeah, he lost, but it's Mike Tyson. So of course, you're not gonna all of a sudden think Jake Paul sucks because he lost to Tyson, because Tyson's Tyson.
Right. Yeah.
So
you don't.
He doesn't have a lot to lose there.
I mean, I remember always that the question was always, would you take $10 million to take a punch from Mike Tyson? And you were like, no, I'm not taking, this, that, and here we are. So yeah, you don't lose getting in the ring with Mike Tyson. You might get hurt, but as far as a branding and marketing standpoint, no, you don't
lose
that up. Yeah. Man, well, we appreciate you. I appreciate you stopping by, man. I'll be out there February 12th in Austin at the Gibbons Recreational Center. Next fight up, it's going to be an action-packed fight. Eduardo Garcia is going to be on there. I look forward to watching you showcase your talents once again and getting you your 8th victory. You are 8-0. I mean, knockouts. Do you have?
Don't.
Okay, so we're going to be looking for one
for sure.
On the 12th.
Absolutely.
Get your tickets now. nextfightUp.com. February 12th. If you are in Austin, it's a great Valentine's weekend idea. Ladies, if you're watching, take your man to the Next Fight Up at the Givens Recreational Center. There's nothing that says I love you more than taking your man to watch a boxing event. My man, you got
I'll be free after my fight anyways, if they don't want to go with their man. Shit.
There you go. There you go. Where can people follow you at? On Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram, Facebook, Eduardo Garcia. I'm sure there's like a million of them here in Houston. Instagram, Boxing Garcia. Same for Snapchat.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on, man. It was fun chatting with you. I look forward to seeing you in Austin. Good luck with camp, and we'll look forward to seeing you kick ass, bro.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. All right, everyone. We look forward to seeing y'all next week. We appreciate you tuning in once again. It's your boy Fresh signing off. Peace.
Later.